what really appealed to me was the idea that a digital product can be sold an infinite amount of times.
In this episode, I'm in Chiang Mai with my friend Zoltan, a Hungarian ebook publishing entrepreneur and globe-trotting digital nomad. We discuss what it's like running a business fully remotely and the power of networking at global events like Nomad Capitalist Live and the Nomad Escape. Zoltan shares how he made the leap from employee to entrepreneur and the huge upside of selling digital products. By the end of this episode, you learn how to build a location-independent business without being on camera or dealing with shipping, just creating digital assets that can generate passive income for years to come. I'm John, a software engineer and entrepreneur from Sweden. Let's begin.
So it's good to be with you, bro.
Yeah,
And we've been hanging out a few days now in Chiang Mai.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really good fun.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I'm glad you came up. This was a good idea.
Indeed. How do you like it here? It's your second time?
Love it here. It's my second time. Yeah, Chiang Mai is I think it's a pretty special place. I'm beginning to understand why so many digital nomads come here, because it's very special. It's got pretty much everything you need. If only the air was a little bit cleaner. But other than that, it's amazing.
No, I agree. It's really cool. You showed me many very nice spots here, like the Old City Spa, I think it's called.
Old City or Old Town, I can't remember.
Yeah, very nice with an ice bath.
No affiliation with Old City Spa whatsoever.
But check it out, guys, if you get the chance.
Yeah, they've got ice bath.
Ice bath, nice saunas,
yeah.
Great conversation with cool people, and
exactly.
Good gyms in the city. We've been going to a place called Rush.
Yeah.
Which seems awesome.
Yeah.
Good modern new equipment.
You should get sponsorships from these places.
Oh yeah, I know, yeah. And yesterday we did like a hike with your friend.
Yeah. I've got a friend here in Chiang Mai who runs one of the elephant sanctuaries. So there's like a bunch of ethical elephant sanctuaries around Chiang Mai where they keep a bunch of rescue elephants. Usually they rescue them from mining or something.
Lodging camps.
Logging camps. So they use the elephants to chop down trees. Or they would cut the tree and then the elephant pulls it down because it's a pretty powerful animal.
Right.
So they rescue them from these centers and then they essentially provide them with a better life.
Yeah.
So you get to visit the elephants as a tourist. You get to feed them, chill out with them. And so we did that, and then we did a huge hike, went to several beautiful waterfalls, and then we did some bamboo rafting as well, didn't we?
On a very beautiful river with amazing scenery.
Yeah.
The whole day was amazing. So thanks so much for taking me with you.
It's a pleasure, man. It's amazing what nature can do in just one day. Yeah. I mean, I've felt so much calmer and refreshed after coming back from there.
Same.
Yeah.
After 2-3 months in Bangkok, like non-stop action, it's so intense. I felt that was a big help for me.
Yeah, the intensity level in Bangkok is off the charts. Yeah. It's insane.
It's very intense city. So you've been really going to lots of conferences and stuff. So we attend, like we talked about, we attend the Nomad Escape, which is a digital nomad conference, networking club. And then you went to Nomad Capitalist conference in Kuala Lumpur, right?
Yeah, I went to Nomad Capitalist Live.
You met some good people there? And
Yeah, definitely made some good connections. Yeah. Made some friends as well, in fact. It was interesting. It was eye-opening as well. To be able to look into a world that isn't really my world, but it was still fascinating to get a glimpse into it, if you will.
Did you meet Andrew?
Not personally, but yeah, I mean, he was obviously there.
He was there.
Yeah.
And my YouTube teacher was there also, apparently. Max Chernov.
Yeah.
Yes, he lives in Singapore.
There. He didn't have a presentation as far as I can recall. They did a panel discussion, and he was one of the panelists.
Right. You've been doing a lot the last few months after we met. You're a very busy, active man.
I am trying my best, yeah. It's also one of the challenges, and perhaps this is a good segue into the conversation, but it's also one of the challenges of this whole, I don't really like the term digital nomad, but for lack of a better term, this whole digital nomad life, if you will. It can get pretty lonely. Because you work online, you work from your laptop, so you have to make an active effort to have a social life. And so that's why I try and do my best to go to as many places as possible.
On that note, like, how do you balance your work and life, so to say? How do you create a harmony there?
First of all, I'm still learning. That's the disclaimer. Yeah. So it's nowhere near perfect. What I realized pretty early on is what I just said, that it can get pretty lonely. So you have to be mindful of, and it's not just that, but I'm also I have a tendency to to just cut off the world a little bit. I guess I'm a bit of an introvert sometimes. I'm more of an ambivert, but never mind that. So I have a tendency to cut myself off from the world because I'm quite comfortable in my own space. I became aware of that disadvantage pretty early on, and so started making effort to attend events, to attend conferences, to try and do things where I can network and meet people and potential business partners.
Right.
Make friends.
That's good. So
Because
you observe that
none of that is
inside
going to
you.
happen if you just sat in front of a computer
Exactly.
staring at the screen.
It's exactly the same for me. I'm also a bit of an introvert normally. So my
Yeah.
profession, software engineer, whatever, all this stuff, is quite introverted. So I'm also have to do like a conscious decision to network more, be more outgoing, and push through resistance and fear and all these things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and
So-
I can rely. I mean, we've had these conversations off the record, and I can relate to a lot of what you are going through, and I think it goes both ways. So yeah,
But I think we're doing pretty good.
I think
at
we're doing
least.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just maybe just a little bit hard on ourselves sometimes, but hey. And sometimes, like, being hard on yourself can be useful because it gets you out of your comfort zone. It pushes you a little bit, but then it's got, obviously, it has a downside to it as well, which is the fact that you're being hard on yourself.
Yeah. It's about that balance.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Because you need to be hard on yourself to get somewhere in life, but you can't be too hard on yourself either, because it's like...
It's a constant balancing act. I agree with that. Yeah.
Any favorite spots so far, like in the world, basically? You've been to many continents, not just Asia, right? So Europe, Africa.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for East Africa, Tanzania and Kenya in general. I just, for whatever reason, I really love the culture, the language.
You even
the
started
vibe.
learning some
I
language.
speak a little bit of Kiswahili,
Wow.
or Swahili as you would normally say, but they call it Kiswahili. So I speak a little bit of that. I'm doing Duolingo on a daily basis, and I've got some family ties with Zimbabwe. I've got some of my family there, or like some of my more distant relatives.
Cool.
So
They
I-
have good internet?
Well, not Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is terrible at the moment, apparently.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I hear. Obviously, I can't rely on my own experience because I haven't been there. Internet is relatively stable in Tanzania, although they do have power cuts. So it's a little bit unpredictable.
Could you
'cause
go there as a digital nomad and work reliably? you
I
think,
would.
or
I would say if you decide to go there, maybe check out Zanzibar.
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar is a good spot to check out. It's not going to be as comfortable as Southeast Asia is, so I think you have to be prepared for that because it's not as developed. The infrastructure is still developing, but it's an incredible spot nevertheless, with really, really lovely people and just a very lovely culture.
So how does your day look like, basically, more or less? A normal day?
It
in
varies. It really varies. It depends on what period I'm in. So, for instance, if we're doing, for those who don't know, because we didn't mention this before
Sure.
in the interview, I run a publishing business. And so we handle everything from production to publishing and advertising and all of that. I currently run one brand under my company. We are launching the second one next year. We publish fiction books, romance fiction to be more accurate. And to answer your question, what my day looks like really depends on what we're doing with the business. So for instance, if we're preparing for a launch, it can be a nut house. But after the launch, once everything is set up and the book is out and the ads are running, we're just essentially waiting for all the results to come in and monitoring the data. It's usually a lot calmer. So usually after a launch, I have like a month that is pretty chill.
Okay.
And we do launches every 3 months, or at least we try to. It doesn't always happen that way, but we try and...
Launching a new book, basically.
Yeah. A new series this is.
A new series.
A new series is, well, I mean, I should say duo, not series, because it's usually 2 books. One will end with a cliffhanger, the second one will end with a happy ending.
Oh.
And these are novels. These are pretty long romance novels. And I always get the question, do you write the books? I do not. I have ghostwriters who are freelancers. And so I will hire them to write these books, but I will give them the parameters because I'm the one responsible for the market research.
Cool.
So I do a ton of market research. I've got all my criteria in terms of what has to be in the book and what shouldn't be in the book. I hand over all that criteria to the writer and they will bring it to life.
Sounds like a very interesting business model.
I'm probably biased because I love this business model and I love my job and it never feels like work. I'm one of the, and I'm incredibly grateful for that, because I don't think a lot of people can say that about themselves. I can.
How did you get into this business? Because you were not always working in this industry. So
I was not. No, I was working in the training sector, in training management. And before that, I was working in just IT/customer service type of jobs. And yeah, my last job was in the UK with a company called Crown Agents. It was in the training industry. And after my contract ended there and did not get extended, after that, I decided to start a business, because I really, really didn't want to go back to work in a corporate environment as an employee. I've always wanted to do my own thing. It was quite uncomfortable at the beginning. It was very, very challenging. For the first 3 years of the business was literally just me keeping my head down and getting shit done. But luckily, well, not so luckily, because COVID was terrible. But for me, it was I did not have any distractions, so I could just work for the whole duration of COVID.
yeah.
And when COVID ended, by the time it ended, my business was actually doing kind of okay.
Wow.
And shortly after that, I started traveling. And I started
Good time.
nomading.
Good time to start a business during COVID. I think.
Well, I mean, yeah. In hindsight, I can see that. I mean, I obviously didn't
online
think of
business,
that at the time, because it was just a terrible time, I think, for everybody. But in hindsight, I was quite lucky to have an environment where I had no distractions whatsoever.
And you told me that you took a course to get up to speed with things. Do you think that helped you a lot to take a course? Well, because this was a completely new industry, completely new area.
That's why I needed the course. It got me started. So it got me on the right track, but it would not have been enough on its own. So there was a lot of me figuring stuff out afterwards. The course gave me the basics. It was a high ticket offer. So I mean, and I'm guessing some of your listeners will know what a high ticket offer is. It was like a package where I got the course, and I also got access to a community of people who were also taking the same course, so we could interact with each other. And we also had coaching calls.
Cool.
Bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks we had like a live call with the community where we could ask questions, just network and interact with each other.
That's cool. And you were able to set up the business during the course or after?
Well, I mean, as in register the company. That was after. So I started off as self-employed, because that made the most sense at that point. And then obviously when the business became a lot bigger, that's when I registered the company.
All right. Now it's going pretty well, so you have hired freelancers to help you out with different parts of the business. How do you find these freelancers usually?
Because I'm more experienced now, I think I have a very good idea of what I'm looking for when I'm trying to hire somebody. So I can tell who's going to work out and who isn't. It's still far from perfect. I'm still learning, but I get a much better sense of who I need and who I shouldn't hire. And I use a platform called Fiverr. Again, no affiliation. On Fiverr, I usually hire graphic designers for the books, legal people if I have a copyright issue or if I need somebody to draft a contract. But it's a good platform. Yeah, you can pretty much find everybody. Oh, I tend to hire outliners as well from Fiverr, who will create a story outline.
Okay.
Like a basic
Mm.
draft. It's like a script for a film. So they will create an outline, and the ghostwriter then, the writer, will be able to use that outline to bring the story to life. And then with ghostwriters, I usually use Upwork.
Okay.
That's another platform where you
Right.
can find a bunch of freelancers if you're an entrepreneur.
How come you choose this specific industry? Like, did you choose between a few different?
So here's the thing. I've been wanting to get out of the corporate sector for a very long time. And looking back, I don't think I believed that this is something I could do. I didn't have enough self-belief to say that, okay, this is something I could pull off. But at the same time, it was always on my radar. It was always in the back of my mind. So I've been looking at different ways of starting an online business. And after a while, I realized that there's some things that I certainly do not want to do. So it wasn't so much about what I was looking for. It was much more about things that I did not want to do. Like, for instance, I didn't want client-facing work. I wanted to create a product that people can buy without having to interact with me. I didn't want to do coaching. At one point, I even thought about coaching, but it just somehow didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm. Like coaching people?
Like coaching people, yeah. I didn't want to work directly with people. I didn't want that pressure. There's a pressure that comes with that, and I felt kind of discomfortable with that. And not because I hate people, don't get me wrong, I love people, but I didn't want it to be an obligation.
Makes sense.
That was one thing. The other thing was I wanted to be location independent. So I wanted something that I can do from anywhere. And eventually I stumbled upon the idea of digital products. And I think it was listening to a podcast, or I don't know how I figured this out, but it was what really appealed to me was the idea that a digital product can be sold an infinite amount of times, right? If it's a PDF document or an ebook or a YouTube video or whatever, then you have to create that once, and then you can get people to consume that an infinite amount of times, right? For instance, you create this YouTube video, you upload it to YouTube, and it's there. People can watch it as many times as they want to. It could reach pretty much everybody, no matter where they are in the world. If I'm selling mineral water bottles, and this is my stock, right? And you buy this mineral water from me, now I don't have a stock. So I need to get more stock. Another scenario, you don't like the taste of the water and you want to send it back to me. Now there's a customer complaint. Now I have to take back the water, refund your money. And it's a whole, like it's just a huge headache. Whereas with digital products, you don't have any of that. There's no shipping, there's none of that BS. And that really appealed to me because it just really simplified the business model for me.
Sure.
So that was very, very appealing. And eventually I stumbled upon the ebook industry, which is what I've gotten into. Which since then it grew, now we publish audio as well. We do paperbacks, as in physical products even, which I was very much against at the beginning.
And how is that going now? You're on Amazon, right?
I'm on Amazon, and Amazon is pretty incredible to work with. I mean, they do take their cut, but they handle everything for me with the physical products. They handle the shipping. If the customer wants to send the product back, they will also handle that. So I just need to produce and publish.
So that's quite convenient to simplify things. Do they take a cut? Do you know how much that is?
It depends. It depends on it depends on a number of factors. It depends on how you price the product. It depends if it's a physical product, then it depends on the number of pages, because the bigger the book, the more they have to pay to produce it. So then the cut they take is big. So it's like I'm not going to go into detail because it would not be, be kind of boring for this interview.
But do they also produce the books? Amazon produce the books?
Yeah, what is interesting with Amazon is, and this tells you all about Amazon or how high tech they are, they don't have a stock. So they don't keep a stock of your books. What happens is that they print on demand. So let's say you order my book, the order comes in, they've got this high-end printer. They will print it off straight away and then ship it the next day.
Physical books?
Physical.
Even.
So they invest in really, really high-tech printers.
Wow.
And because of that, they don't have to have warehouses where they keep the stock.
That's futuristic. So
it's pretty sci-fi, science fiction.
Pretty sci-fi, yeah. Very interesting business model. And something you can do completely remotely and live this digital nomad lifestyle meanwhile. So it opens up so many opportunities. What a world we live in. It just comes down to us, basically, how much because there's also obviously downsides to digital nomad life, like the traveling and the being in a new hotel or new accommodation very often.
Well, I would call them challenges, not downsides, because it's the very idea that you get to be anywhere you want and you can still make money and have a very good quality of life. And have potential for growth and be able to grow your business as much as you want is pretty incredible on its own. I think the benefits far outweigh the challenges or downsides, whatever you want to call it. And there are challenges, but I'm not so fussed about all of that because I'm so grateful for being able to live this way.
That was kind of the lifestyle you were after when you were working in the corporate job back in the days.
I just wanted location independence. At the time I was living in the UK and I was becoming increasingly aware of the fact that I have to be there, and wherever I get holidays I usually go back to my country where I'm from, which is Hungary, to see my family or see my parents, because that was the only time I could be around them. So essentially I didn't really get time to go on an actual holiday.
Right.
Plus, I had financial limits as well because I was working as an employee, and as an employee you get a salary,
Yeah.
and you can only spend as much as you earn, right? With the business, I don't have any limits like that.
So we've been talking a lot about also how to stay healthy, because as a business owner, entrepreneur, it's like what you said the other day, like the business will only do as well as you do as a owner,
Yeah, I did say
founder,
that.
which is a good, really good way to put it.
It took me a while to realize that, but I think it's very, very true. Your business will only do as well as you do. I don't know if that's correct grammatically, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And so one of the other things that this whole journey did for me was that it made me more health conscious. It made me pay attention to things like my sleep quality, what I eat, how much I exercise, my mental health, which is something I have struggled with in the past. In fact, I still do to an extent, but I'm much better. It's much nicer in my head than it used to be. Let's put it that way.
What Michelle Mari said in a different interview I did, that starting a business was the biggest self-development.
We love you, Michelle.
Exactly, we love you, Michelle. But she said that starting a business was the biggest self-development hack, so to say, that she could do.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, I could not agree more with that statement. Absolutely, it is.
Because you really get challenged in so many ways and makes you grow, force you to grow.
Not just that, but I think it's also about the results. It's like when your business is growing and you can see that you are having, I don't want to say you're earning more and more every month, because it's so much more about than just the money, but you're having better and better results every month because your business is growing. It also inspires you to do better as a person as well in other areas of life. And when you put in the work and your business grows as a result, and you also become a better person and you just generally feel better in your own skin, then those results are very tangible because you can monitor the results. It's like working out. You know, if you're efficient in the gym and you start to look better and better, it's going to inspire you to go further and further. And I think the same principle applies to business as well.
Yeah. And it forces you to level up in different areas like communication, writing, copywriting, I don't know, sales, everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to level up in all these areas, and it will really expose your weaknesses, I guess, like, right? So, and you just have to face these fears as a business owner.
Yeah.
I mean, you can outsource certain things.
You can ignore them, but it's not going to do you any good if you do.
No. You won't be able to grow as much, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's also satisfying work.
There we comes back to this. It can only do as well as you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we go full circle on that.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. Any like mentors or books that has helped you during the years when you took this leap from employer to business owner? Or
I could name so many. I'm a big podcast person, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. In fact, I try and have a gym routine, or at least some form of exercise every single day. And usually when I do my exercise, that's when I listen to my podcast. So I'm like a daily podcast consumer. Audio works really well for me. I like DOAC.
Okay.
Diary of a CEO,
right?
Stephen Bartlett. He's become really big over the past few years. I like Rogan, of course, because who doesn't?
Rogan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every guy likes
awesome.
Rogan.
More or less, I guess so.
Yeah. Lex Friedman's amazing.
Yeah.
Chris Williamson's really cool. Huberman Lab. I'm a huge fan of the Huberman Lab, although sometimes I don't have enough time to listen to 6 hours.
They're very lengthy.
They talk a lot.
His podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm also a fan of yours.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah. Becoming a fan.
Cheers, man.
You just need to put out more stuff.
Exactly. So what's the next steps now? We're entering 2025 here in 2 days.
I'm not going to spoil everything because why would I, right?
Sure.
But I've got really big plans for 2025. I think my business has a lot of potential for growth, and so I'm planning to go all in on that next year. It's very likely that I'm going to relocate my base to Southeast Asia. I currently have a place in my hometown in Hungary, in Székesfehérvár.
Okay.
And that's where I keep all my stuff. I'm not there very often, but if I have to go back somewhere, that's where I go. But I want to move that base to Southeast Asia, to Kuala Lumpur to be more specific.
Okay, cool. You're a fan of KL?
I'm a bit of a fan of KL, yeah. I don't know what it is about KL that I love, but I love it. No, actually, that's not true. I do know what I love about K. It's a whole list of things, but let's not go into that.
Sure. All right. So you've been there a few times, and that might be
Yeah.
one of the future bases for you.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really good location. It's also very well located. Like, you got the entire Asian continent at your fingertips. You've got Indonesia there, you've got Thailand, Japan, China, India. You know, it's a very well located place
Right.
with an international airport, which is a huge deal.
Yeah, I've never been there. I look forward to visit sometime for sure.
You're invited to the housewarming party.
Yeah.
And when I get my place.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Thanks, you brother. It was amazing to talk to you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me on board.
Cheers, mate.
And hope we'll get to do this again in the future.
Yeah, would love to. Maybe in KL or somewhere else.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome.